Hi VC, Martin here. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna do my top 10 1979 here in the last minute. Um, yeah, there's nothing more to say. Let's get to it. First record, Marianne Faithfull, Broken English. Um, yeah, I think Fred showed this in his rejects. Um, Very cool record. This is the Canadian pressing. That's why it's black and white. Uh, Also kind of look cool. Normally it's of course the blue cover. Uh, yeah, very raw kind of rock singer-songwriter stuff. With of course with Marianne Faithfull's very distinctive raw voice, where you really can hear that she was living a hard life before recording this album. Um, Here are on this record's really cool tracks. It's probably also, yeah, I think it's her best album. She made also other good albums, but this is it's probably the best. Uh, Broken English, of course. Guilt is very cool. Ballad of Lucy Jordan. Working Class Hero, the John Lennon cover, and then Why Did You Do It, which is really, really cool. Very, very cool. Um, Originally, it was a little bit more raw sound, a little bit more, or a little bit more simple sound. Not simple, it's difficult to explain, but now with the album release, there was Steve Winwood was joined the band and made more layers. He plays some synthesizer, I think, or keyboard stuff on it, and yeah, it's a very good record. Highly recommend it. Next, this record I have to show because it has to be shown in 1979, and everyone else I think showed it. I will see if I can show it without the glare. You know, that's difficult. Like this, maybe. Joy Division, Unknown Pleasures, of course. Masterpiece. Yeah, yeah, of course, I really like it. I listened to it a lot when I was in the 20s. I must admit, last years I didn't really listen to the album that much. But of course, I know it, know all the songs, and yeah, it's a good record. So highly recommend it. Now we are back in Germany here with Peter Baumann, Transharmonic Nights. I think it's his second solo album. He played obviously in Tangerine Dream, and parallel with recording for Tangerine Dream and touring with them, he released these solo albums. And I actually wanted to show Klaus Schulze's Dune, but I thought, okay, now I have shown enough Klaus Schulze, and I think it was already shown as well. That's why I decided to show this instead. This is on Virgin Records, and yeah, if you compare it to Tangerine Dream, I think it's a little bit more minimalistic sound from him, and a little bit more direct. Not so dreamy as or cosmic as some of the Tangerine Dream albums. I think also in the 1979, you maybe because of punk, I don't know, but or post-punk, that also the electronic acts from Germany get a little bit more direct. Maybe also, disco has the influence on that. I don't know, but yeah, some tracks here is almost like you can dance to them. Um, yeah, I think maybe it. I could imagine this record could have inspired some of the bands from the 90s, late 80s, early 90s. So yeah, so electronica kind of techno X. Yeah, but it's a very nice record. Yeah, check it out. It's not, you know, the best Tangerine Dreams records are better than this, but it's great. So next up is a record that I don't think anyone showed, and I was like, why are no one showing it? Maybe someone can write some comments about that. This is Pink Floyd's The Wall, and as I said, I don't think anyone showed it. I don't know if it's because people don't like Roger Waters, or if they just listen to the record too much when they were young, or they hear it too much in the radio. To me, this is one of Pink Floyd's best albums. Not the best. I still think some of the earlier stuff is better, but I actually think this is better than Dark Side of the Moon. This is how it looks like inside. And on the back it's just bricks. And on this record, of course, yeah, it's a concept album, double LP, released on Harvest, and of course later there came a movie to it as well. And there's some really strong tracks on it. In the Flesh, Hey You, Comfortably Numb, Another Brick in the Wall, Part 2, etc. And I really think it's a strong album. I can understand if people think it's they have listened to it too much, but then you could also say Joy Division has been been played a lot and everyone knows it. So, but yeah, at least I like it. Please comment if you don't. As I'm not really, I was never really interested in this discussion about David Gilmour and Roger Waters in a way. As long as they put out good albums, and in the end, of course, yeah, I don't really care that much after they split. I didn't follow them, I don't listen to Pink Floyd after Roger Waters left, and I don't listen to Roger Waters music. Yeah, maybe it's just me. I don't know. So here, Germany. It's maybe difficult to see what it's called. It's called Astra Correlations. This is obviously Manuel Götzing's project or band. Normally he plays mostly himself on this record. He also has Harald Großkopf on drums, percussion, synthesizer and sounds, and Lutz Ulbrich on guitar, string, synthesizer, piano and mellotron. Yeah, it's a very interesting record because here you can already tell that he's getting into this direction of kind of proto techno. Some of the tracks are really in that direction, or you can understand why he would influence techno. And yeah, some tracks are almost like disco as well. I can really highly recommend Club Cannibal, which I really think is a really cool track. This is how it looks like on the backside. It's released on Virgin, as you can see. And Club Cannibal is the second track on side 1. Yeah, highly recommended from my side. This is really good. Next up, this was already shown, but we're gonna show it anyway here. Wire 154. The last of their 3 great albums. Pink Flag, Chairs Missing, and then 154. I'm having a hard time deciding what album is best. I think I still like Pink Flag best because it's so direct, but I also really like the 2 others here. This is how it looks like on the back side. I guess this is released on Harvest. Let me check. Yeah, it's released on, it's difficult to see in this light, Harvest. That's how it looks like. And this is an original German pressing. Yeah. The other ones I have is the UK first press, but this is then German pressing. Next up, this was shown by Fred in his rejects. Here, Linton Kwesi Johnson, Forces of Victory, which is a reggae dub poetry record in a way. Yeah, it's really good. I'm not sure I don't know if it's my favorite Linton Kwesi Johnson record, but it's really one of the best he made. Very cool, great lyrics, sometimes really heartbreaking, and then of course very good music, dub music, supporting his poems. Yeah, highly recommended. Beautiful. This is on Iceland Records. This is not in first press. This is like I think it came later at least. 80s pressing, I think. Yeah, very cool. Next up was shown by Fred, Big Star, Serge Gainsbourg. Yeah, very cool record from Serge, where he went to Jamaica to record reggae music, which is in a way a crazy idea, but somehow that's I think why it makes it a good album. Somehow his voice really fits great to that kind of thing. He doesn't really sing. He like he speaks over it in his own way, and somehow it fits really good to the reggae sound. So yeah, it's a pretty cool record. Not his best, but still a very cool record. Highly recommended. Then the last two, a little bit more different. This I'm pretty sure no one showed. Here, first off, Sots, Danish punk band. This record is considered to be the first punk record out of Denmark. The record is called Minutes to Go, and this is their debut album. And yeah, what can I say? This is punk. This is in a way, very amateurish, do-it-yourself music. So sometimes I can't help laugh when I hear it today, but it has some strong moments. It has a lot of course, what makes punk great is the energy, and on this record it's no exception. The energy is really raw and direct, and but you can really tell they're young, these guys, and they don't maybe know how to play that well on the instruments, but still it has some great moments on this record. I can recommend. Doesn't say any here tracks here, but I think Police is one of the tracks that are really good. Police is very good, and then also Television Sect, and the track which has a little bit of a reggae feeling, it's called Copenhagen. Yeah. Yeah, in Denmark, of course, it's a lot of people know this record, but I don't know if you know it in the VC. Yeah, so if you're into very like raw punk, a little bit amateur do-it-yourself sound, and yeah, some kind of great atmosphere as well, then check this out. I thought it could be funny to show it. They later became more established like rock band called Sort Sol, which means black sun in Danish, and they released some really good albums as Sort Sol, which I can highly recommend. Albums that are also better than this, but this is of course interesting because it's so raw. Yeah. The last one is also from Denmark. It's a guy called Mehmet Ozan who released his first album, Istanbul Express, which also became a band later under that name. This is his first record. He's Turkish born, but lived in Denmark in the 70s. Maybe he still lives in Denmark, I don't know, but this is like folk jazz. This is Turkish folk mixed with South American folk. So flamenco mixed with Anatolian kind of folk, and then in a jazz context, it's quite interesting. Yeah, this is how it looks like on the back. It's not the whole album. You know, it has some strong moments. It's really good. Sometimes it gets, in my taste, a little bit too flamenco. As there's too much flamenco influence. I think what makes it a little bit maybe a little bit weak records in some points is that I'm not sure that this flamenco or the South American style mixed with Turkish always works. I like the parts where it's more clear Turkish influenced. But there's some really good moments on here. The first track, Istanbul Express, is really good. And on the second side, there is a track called Artvin. And here it says it's Afro-Anatolian rhythm combination. Yeah, it looks like they were inspired by Kraftwerk with this cover, but yeah, it's a nice record. Actually, his name is up here. I don't know if you saw that up here, Mehmet Osan, like that. There you can see it. Yeah, and maybe also like this. It's easier to see how it looks like. It's on a sub label to a Danish label, a bigger label called Medley. It doesn't exist anymore. It's called Kong Per, which means King Peer. It's a little bit weird. They released jazz and smaller or like a little bit more alternative music in the 70s and 80s. So yeah, this was my last one for 1979. As I said, maybe not the best 10 record, or probably, it's not the best 10 records of 1979, but records I like, and I hope you enjoy, and I'm looking forward to the 80s. Let's see. Take care, we see. Bye.